everybody. Hey, by the way, there was an update on the streaming software, and I think that was our problem this morning. Because now things are different, which I don't necessarily love. But, you know.
That happens. They don't call ahead.
They don't. Hello, everybody. Say hello in the chat, because we are officially live.
We are.
Welcome to the call where we bypass some of the buzz and break down the big picture. Every episode. Every single one. We're sharing our homework with you from the pages P is perusing, to the videos M is vetting to show you exactly what we research, how we research our world. I'm working through this. See, this is how, if you all go back to the early days of PMR Studio.
Yeah, she didn't whip through that like that.
You know all that stuff that I say?
Yeah.
It's years embedded. It's going to be a little bit before we get through this quickly. But I want y'all to know. Because we're trying to really address, what is this about? How are we doing this? What is the goal? We also need feedback from y'all. We got some yesterday. And I mean, we've been, it's getting the ball rolling. It's doing some things. I don't know if we're going to, I don't know how much we're going to adjust at this moment in time, but it's in there. It's marinating. We aren't here for hasty headlines or emotional echoes. That's not necessarily true. Like, there might be some. But this is the goal. These are goals, y'all. We are here to work through complex concepts with curiosity and care. It might get judgy. I ain't gonna lie. Because at CAW, we value the journey of learning over the status of knowing. Y'all know we love to get
I love that last one. Read it again.
Okay. It's because at CAW, we value the journey of learning over the status of knowing. Now, we do like to get y'all knowed up about some things.
And I think that's what our attempt is today. But you have to understand, every time we do come out and do this, a lot of what is being said here is,
our thoughts.
I like to say, opinions that are based somewhat in
out in the other part of the World Wide Web and what's it out there on the internet, they like to say they're takes. But I think this is more than a take. These are thoughts and feelings in a conversation. That's different.
They are, and hopefully rooted in some sort of information other than just I heard it over there, which I really try not to do anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just tell you what we're doing today.
Appreciate it.
What I will be reading from and reacting to with Mariah, because that's how we do things here, is a book called The Revolution, a Manifesto by Ron Paul. Now, before you start...
He was a libertarian.
Getting your panties in a wad, just hang in there with me, okay? Ron Paul is a 10-term...
We haven't lost our minds.
Is a 10-term congressman from Texas.
Was,
yes. He has... He died.
2013.
Yeah.
We looked that up.
Yeah. Is the leading advocate of freedom in our nation's capital. He has devoted his political career to the defense of individual liberty, sound money, and a non-interventionist foreign policy. Judge Andrew Napolitano calls him the Thomas Jefferson of our day. He's very scholarly.
Every time she's like, he's very serious.
I'm ready.
She's been reading
I'm
me
ready
things.
for a serious person in our higher echelons of the government. After serving as a flight surgeon in the U.S. Air Force in the 1960s, Dr. Paul moved to Texas to begin a civilian medical practice, delivering over 4,000 babies in his career as an obstetrician. He served in Congress from 1976 to 1984 and again from 96 to the present. That's 2008 is when this book was written. He and Carol Paul, his wife of 51 years, have 5 children, 8 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild.
By now they got more.
Yeah. Ron Paul, the New York Post once wrote, is a politician who cannot be bought by special interests. There are few people in public life who, through thick and thin, rain or shine, stick by their principles, added a congressional colleague. Ron Paul is one of those few. Here's a picture of him. He's a very distinguished looking gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell he's serious.
He's thinking.
Yes.
He's deep in thought.
You know, the thinker.
The thinker.
The thinker. Okay. So basically what we're going to do here, and I'm not starting at the beginning of the book. I'm just kind of jumping in on the first chapter where I
All right, and here's what else I want to know from folks before he starts doing a reading and things. And those that are coming back and leaving comments on the replay, please feel free. Like, whenever I ask a question or, you know, ask for some involvement from y'all, we want to know. Let us know down in the comments. Like, I'm not just saying that to get the engagement. Like, that, I'm hoping that this ends up being more, you know, for as long as it possibly can be, because I'm sure at some point in time, if this does grow bigger, obviously maintaining and going through comments is a lot more difficult. But right now, we're early. Yeah. We get this luxury. Let's do this and let's kind of figure this thing out together. So my question to y'all really is, like, are you enjoying more of just the banter back and forth conversation? Do you enjoy the longer, like, blips of reading? We need to know these things. Like, we know how we kind of do it, but that may or may not be what you're here for. Like, do you want to hear about the book, or, you know, all of those things? Give us that feedback. But today, this is kind of what we're going to do. And we'll try out these different things. And y'all can say, hey, you know, I kind of liked that. Or, no, that wasn't. No, I liked it better when y'all were just chit-chatting more about it.
The thing about it, and you know, I want to say, even though if it does come down to the chit-chatting part of it,
there will be chit-chat, no matter.
Book-based.
Yeah.
And it will be as far, and I take this very seriously, my personal values as far as being truthful and transparent as far as I can be. If I don't do that, if you find other factual material that is at odds with what I'm saying, please let me know. I won't be offended.
Oh yeah, and whenever y'all do the thing, like, you know, Google some things and help us out in the chat, I love that.
And we don't
hold you to, you know, being strictly factual or whatever, but, you know, try to Google with intent.
There you go. I like that.
Or what's the other one? Google responsibly.
Yeah. and yeah. Okay. I'll just go ahead.
Hey, from yesterday, Mo has ordered the book by Robert Fisk. She couldn't find mine and started to watch the 3-hour YT video. Yes. Thank you. Okay, so Mo digs, like, both ends of things, because I was a little worried about that too. My only reference here, because I am not reading these books. I don't like reading. It's not my thing. It's not going to be my thing. You can't make it be my thing. She tried to make it my thing. I make her listen, though. She comes and reads to me, and I very much enjoy that. And then I'm like, oh, hey, that reminds me. Or some of these books, I recommended to her because I watch all of this, you know, insane, you know, stuff on the internet, mainly YouTube, because that's my home. That's my home base. For whatever that is. I don't know. It is what it is. That's how I get knowed up. And then that's how we have the conversation. And a lot of times P's like, well, did you read the book? And I'm like, no, I didn't read the book. I watched the guys talk about it.
Okay, I want to tell you right off the bat that Ron Paul is a constitutionalist. And I think the person that, because I've had this book for a while. Mm-hmm. I haven't had it since 2008, but I've had it like 3 or 4 years. Was Beau of the Fifth Column.
Oh, we so miss
Beau. Who is no longer there.
It's Belle of the Ranch.
Yeah.
We like her. Just we miss Beau.
But just I don't. She doesn't have that same delivery, and you know that's one of the things that you can't. You can't make that up. All right, jumping right in. This is chapter 2. I'm skipping chapter 1, and I'll just read you the title of it. It says "False Choices of American Politics."
And again, this was 2008.
Yeah. Yes. Just keep that in mind as we're going.
I'll keep reminding y'all,
because it is absolutely. I mean, you couldn't find a book that is more prescriptive. Because I told Mariah, I said, I'm really tired of just watching the same things over and over again, the same format they talk about. And I want them to have more serious content. And I think that that's one of the reasons that I like the legal people. You know, what's his name?
Oh, you're
Glenn Kirshner.
Oh, you like Kirshner, yeah.
I like Popok sometimes. Sometimes
he's getting a little more like, this is what happens, and it may even
he's trying to keep his.
Forgive us, it may happen to us at some point in time. Maybe it already happened. I don't know, but you get internet-y.
You get internet-y. Okay.
Social media-y. YouTube-y.
Henry Clay.
Yeah.
Y'all know who Henry Clay is? Well, he was one of I don't know. He's a constitutionalist.
Like early days?
Early days.
Like from the beginning?
I think so.
That's where I'm feeling
he was repeating George Washington's sentiments.
Okay. Yeah, then it seems like he was early.
Rather than
if he knew George Washington.
Okay. So one of the things that Ron Paul has been accused of is being an isolationist. And that is not what he is. He is against interventionism. Okay? And you'll understand it more here as we go along.
Yeah, would you like a little clip on Henry Clay?
Yes.
Hey, okay. So, Henry Clay was born in 1777.
There you go.
He passed away in 1852. He was an American lawyer and statesman who represented Kentucky in both the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives. Well, there you go. He was a kind of crazy-looking dude. Like, if these pictures were right.
I don't know. I have to look up more about old Henry. Anyway, he said, by the policy to which we have adhered since the days of Washington, back to Washington, we have done more for the cause of liberty than arms could effect. We have shown to other nations the way to greatness and happiness. Far better is it for ourselves. And the cause of liberty, that adhering to our Pacific system and avoiding the distant wars of Europe, we should keep our lamp burning brightly on this western shore as a light to all nations.
Remember, this is before they found oil in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Because that's now what we fight wars over.
Thus saith Ron, we should strive to lead by example rather than force, and provide a model for the world that other peoples will wish to follow. We do no one any good by bankrupting ourselves. When they tell you how much each one of those bombs costs, it hurts my heart.
Well, I just keep thinking, okay, well, but and this is like my little,
why do we always have
why do we always have money for war but not education or healthcare?
Well, the reason we do is because if you got knowed up, that was a bunch of BS.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be doing the war things.
No. What the founding fathers have to teach us about foreign policy became all the more important and yet all the more ignored in the wake of the horrific attacks of September 11th, 2001. In the weeks that followed that fateful day, most Americans' focus was on identifying the sponsors of the attacks and punishing them. That was sensible enough. I myself voted to track down Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, but people were bound to start wondering eventually why we were attacked. Not because they sought to accuse attackers, of course, but out of the natural curiosity regarding what made these men tick. Looking for motive is not the same thing as making excuses. Detectives always look for the motive behind the crime, but no one thinks they are looking to excuse murder. I remember this. I can even tell you where I was.
Well, let me tell you. So
when it happened.
Yeah.
I was in the library watching the TV that was in the library that's set up because of all of the hoopla that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this wasn't the first time this was.
Right, because they were
reruns. I mean, they just kept showing it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I'm kind of interested So if he was there at those times, how much did I want to know exactly who knew what?
Well, we're starting to learn that because remember when I talked to you about Ghislaine Maxwell, okay, Robert Maxwell, the father,
Uh-huh.
Ghislaine Maxwell, but Ghislaine Maxwell's sister, and the Chiliad program
Right.
that was turned into the Promise.
Okay. We've also got a
evolved.
joke around here, but it's not a joke, but it's a joke. It's like all of these things, just go and like search and do the thing through the Epstein files, because again, it is crazy the amount of people related to other people that then involved with other, it's either they worked at some institute, they worked at some, college, they worked at some, but then somebody, oh, it was her sister that, knew this person or that person, and all these crazy little connections that you can find in the emails, because they're like, oh yeah, they met and they talked to so-and-so, and then they're asking about this thing, or, they want to set up these meetings, and then you see the pictures of like Epstein sitting in these college, like conference rooms and things of, that nature with all these people.
Yeah. And here's the big thing. That program. Remember when I talked to you about it, and it's I think that they're bringing it back around, and it's going to have a lot more light of day shown on this particular aspect of what you just said. Did we know about the imminent attacks they're happening?
Because I'm kind of curious, because they brought in good old Colin Powell, and he was the one who spoke in front of, I think, even the UN at the time.
Oh yeah, United Nations.
Okay, so again, if y'all go back and watch the Johnny Harris thing, I still haven't even made it all the way through it. But this was in the earlier part of it. So they review all of these things, which is really nice because, again, there's more information than what we had way back when. And so now being able to sit there, and then they had the interview with Colin Powell about, like, do you regret this or whatever? And he's like, well, yeah, of course, I kind of do. But then it's like, but did you know? Like, were you just hopeful that, like, what you were doing, like, or did somebody give you that, like,
I don't want to think
that's what I wanted.
Yeah, I don't want to think that they allowed it to happen, but I'm not all sure that they didn't.
Like, how much of the, okay, yeah, well, we got to make this thing up in order to get to this. Yeah. Because it's different, If you knew, and then you knew to make up some things, is what I'm saying. It's different. That's what, Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, here we are 7 years later when he wrote this book. So our political class still refuses to deal with the issue in anything but sound bites and propaganda. The rest of the world is astonished at this refusal to speak frankly about the reality of our situation. Now, he doesn't go into detail here, and yet our safety and security may depend on it.
So see, now hearing those words, you kind of go, what else did he know?
Yes.
Or is he reflecting, because again, this is 2008. So was he reflecting on the fact that some things were already, coming out, especially within Washington or wherever? So they're kind of like, they're gonna know that more information's coming.
Well, and he seemed to be, I don't know if he was friends, but it looks like they were at least acquaintances, because he says one person to consult if we want to understand those who wish us harm is Michael Scheurer. And he was the chief of the CIA's Osama bin Laden unit. And we know the CIA had their little fingers in a lot of the Epstein, file business. Counter-terrorist in the late 90s. He refuses to buy the usual line that the attacks on America have nothing to do with what our government does in the Islamic world. In fact, he says, those attacks have everything to do with what we do. We being the United States of America. They didn't just, fall out of the sky on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
His point is very simple. It is unreasonable, even utopian, not to expect people to grow resentful and desirous of revenge when your government bombs them, supports police states in their countries, remember the Shah of Iran, and imposes murderous sanctions on them. Remember all the children that died in Iran when we...
Well, and here, not even just that.
That
Let's
revenge in its various forms is what our CIA calls blowback, the unintended consequences of military intervention.
Okay, now let's think about all of these cuts that were done to USAID and the USA stuff. And that was the soft power. That's where they were talking about being able to do good things for countries,
Making
and build
us a light.
goodwill and things of that nature. And what's really crazy is even in Iran, a lot of the newer, younger generations didn't understand why older generations had such a, bad view of America. Well, we just reminded them.
I'll say we just reminded them.
And so now, here we are in the, cycle of this. Oh, okay. Yeah, they aren't doing good things. And this time we didn't even bother to make things up.
Yeah.
But I guess, skip that step. Maybe that'll propel us forward more quickly. And I hope that, my hope is in the world that, because we certainly understand and have a better understanding that the people of the country are not the government.
Exactly. And we have people like this man right here. The main focus of our criticism, the people who felt, the non-interventionist. The main focus of our criticism, in other words, is what our government's foreign policy has put the American people in greater danger and made us more vulnerable to attack than we would otherwise have been.
And so that's the other crazy thing to think about. They constantly say, oh, we're doing this for our safety. No, we're not.
No, we're not.
Nobody believes that. Well, I mean, sorry.
Yeah. There may be some people.
There's about 25. What is my note? Hold on. I'll tell you the percentage of folks. It says it's about 25%. The TFGs, people just drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. And while she's looking for that, I'm going to read you this.
25 to 30% is always fringe. So I think there's that amount of folks. And that's probably even worldwide that have these viewpoints or a lack of true information. I also watched a thing today. It was between Jordan Klepper, love him. He's from The Daily Show. And this other dude, something stoic. It was a great conversation. I haven't finished it. But the conversation they were having was really about, and I thought it was very interesting because it kind of applies to our struggle here. And, are we just doing the same thing that everybody else is doing? This struggle. And it was interesting because the one guy said, I just read books. He's like, I will check in with the news here and there. He's like, but there isn't anything if I'm just getting, the breaking news, I can't really do much with that information. Yeah. He said, so I have a better view of it when I read books like this. And I thought that was very interesting. So that's it's kind of within, and it's things were being served up to me in a way that it was okay, this is very important to what P and I are trying to do here and figuring out how we process this with y'all. Because us just doing it, in the evenings and chatting about things and going through it, it's going to be different. I don't know. Again, I don't know how entertaining that is. Not that it has to necessarily be entertaining, but I would assume that you would want to stick around. Are you finding value in it? Because your time is valuable.
It is.
And that's what people are competing for these days, I suppose. I don't know. I'm struggling with all that. These are the thoughts.
The interventionist policies that have given rise to blowback have been bipartisan in their implementation. For instance, it was Bill Clinton's Secretary of State, Madeleine Albright, who said on 60 Minutes that 500,000 dead Iraqi children as a result of the sanctions on that country during the 1990s were, quote, worth it, end quote. Who could be so utopian, so detached from reality as to think a remark like that, which was broadcast all over the Arab world, you can be sure, and policies like these that would not provoke a response? If Americans lost that many of their family members, friends, and fellow citizens, would they not seek to hunt down the perpetrators and be unsatisfied until they were apprehended? It means only that actions cause reactions. The cost in terms of liberties lost and the unnecessary exposure of terrorism are difficult to determine, but in time, it will become apparent to all of us that foreign interventionism is of no benefit to American citizens, but instead is a threat to our liberties. I stand by every word of that.
And it's so interesting because it does make sense that like this was the book that Bo recommended, and that's where Pete got the recommendation, was from Bo of the Fifth, because it's one of the things when you watch his earlier content, which I think would still be, a lot of it would still be very applicable, so relevant. And he definitely has some videos that are like kind of evergreen, so they are applicable. They're just really great information, just general, and he really curated the content in that way.
Yes,
and I think that's so different.
That's what made him so interesting, I think. And there's really, I don't know of anybody else who's able, he could give you that information in, 30 minutes, 20 minutes. I mean, it was a short segment of time.
Oh, yeah, because I would usually watch him because his videos, because
he would do it almost daily, right?
Oh, yeah. In fact, a lot of times, and I think this is why he burned out. He totally burned out. But yeah, he put out like 3 videos a day, typically. But one of them would come out right before we would go live. So I would usually watch it right before, while putting on my makeup. But anyway, one of the things that he would say a lot in all of his videos is that, hey, remember, there's 2 things. Remember, this is an international poker game and everyone's cheating. So true. Secondly, America needs to stop trying to be the global police and maybe worry about being more of like a global
paramedic. I love that imagery, because I think that if that is how we're going to go into a situation rather than with bombs and guns, come on. Can you put yourself in that position? I don't know.
And I think that if we could get more folks altering their mind frame, or even just the culture, because that's really what has changed so much just in the last, since about 2016-ish, 2015.
I'm ready for some people that know some shit to get in power. That's what I'm ready for.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this. It makes me sad, mad, angry, stabby.
He talks about feeling
rocky,
stabby, and rocky.
It makes me all of those things, just because I think that is where we are. And if you're not there, I don't know. Are you not paying attention? I don't know what you're doing. This is really important. I got this also, the same information from your friend Johnny Harris when he talked about motivation for Osama bin Laden.
I'm going to finish that thing tonight.
Okay, Osama bin Laden, he was the guy that organized into the But he tried a lot of other things first. But no one would listen to him, not even his own country. He is a member of the Saudi royal family. Now,
Yeah.
he's the black sheep. The rest of them are happy to take the money.
And he was pissed about that. Because he's like, why do you keep taking... And this is,
Well, he
wording...
didn't take his money, but then he just built it into terrorist
Well,
networks.
yeah, he's like, here, I'll take that chunk and I'm going to, invest it in
and
things
I'm going to get back at these. And it wasn't a religious thing at all. He wanted the military presence in his country out.
And he wanted to unify all of
the
Middle
Arab
East.
states.
Yeah.
The Arab countries, they weren't states, but the whole region. He wanted that kind of, and he
unification.
He wanted his culture. Culture wars. I mean, look at what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Just think about it. And we have nothing, no standard to hold up to the light here. Big thing was the presence of American troops on the Arabian Peninsula. That was the motivating factor. And allowed people to rally to his cause. It wasn't the religious extremism that they want us to think. It was our presence in their country
that they were very upset about.
Yes,
or
it was
in
called,
particular.
Yes. Okay. Wolfel was said another reason for the invasion of Iraq had been almost unnoticed but huge, namely that the ousting of Saddam would allow the United States to remove its troops from Saudi Arabia, where their presence had long been a major al-Qaeda grievance. Well, we know that didn't happen. The point is a simple one. When our government meddles around the world, it can stir up hornet's nests and thereby jeopardize the safety of the American people.
Yes.
That's just common sense.
Yes. Okay, quick question for you. Are you going to be continuing in this one? Or, because I know you wanted to talk more about not only like this book, but then does he go into kind of the power situation, the executive power?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Yes, he does. And that's the Constitution. That's what we're going to get into next time. But I want to finish this out.
Okay.
The foreign policy aspect of it, because I think it's so relevant to what we are experiencing right now. We don't have a foreign policy per se.
No.
My whole thing about this whole...
Oh, even Piers Morgan is like, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He was on a different talk show, and normally Piers Morgan is all about his buddy. But here lately, he's been like, no, I don't think he has any plan, and no, this is terrible. And yeah, so I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. I don't know what it means, but I just know that we've
Can I ask you this? What is the comfort that you find in this information? Is it that it's like, okay, hey, this is really where we should, like, the information is there.
I feel like this is just like I want to share Anthony's book about education with
everybody all the time,
legislators. Mm-hmm. Because number one, I've told you from the get-go, that's where it starts.
So you feel like, okay, hey, guys, like, we have...
Here's a prescriptive model that we can follow. We don't have to, make it all up.
And it's
there.
applicable.
It's called...
Yeah. Don't rip my sticky note off. Oh, no.
Constitution of the United States. It's all there, folks.
Mm-hmm.
It's all there. We don't have to make it up.
And we have things like this that, and proven, instances of same place, different or same basic region, and now we're trying to do the same things.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mariah. I didn't mean to mess your notes up. I saved them.
She's getting emotional.
Yes. Okay. Um, and you mentioned this person before, Robert Pape, Pape.
Yeah. So who
His
Robert?
book,
Yes, he's an oil.
Dying to Win.
Well, I thought he was an oil expert, but it turns out that he's actually like a lot of different kind of experts. Like
Yeah.
he's very like let me
The world expert on suicide terrorism convinced me to rethink this only plausible answer. The University of Chicago's Robert Pape. I don't know how you say it.
I would say Pape because it has an E.
Yeah. Dying to Win, the strategic logic of suicide terrorism.
Yeah, he's a political scientist.
He is a political scientist. Again, we have people who read books and write books. Isn't that amazing?
Oh, that doesn't, I don't think that.
I don't think it is, but I think even the process that you would go through, even if it's a very bad book.
Remember
what?
OTT has books too. Oh. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, his library. I said that's about as oxymoronic as you can get. He has, what's he going to put in it?
Stickers.
Yeah. One thing he found was that religious beliefs were less important as motivating factors than we believed. The world's leader in suicide terrorism are actually the Tamil Tigers in Sri Lanka, a Marxist group. The largest Islamic fundamentalist countries have not been responsible for any suicide terrorist attack. Not one has come from Iran or the Sudan. Not one. Okay, moving right along.
You got him. You got your.
Yeah, okay. Right here, page 20.
Oh, look at her! I'm so proud of you.
Page 20. Okay.
She wants to read the whole book to y'all, but I told her, I said, number one, I don't think that's allowed.
Okay. Yeah. I think that this is really important, that you have to understand that there is no link of Osama bin Laden to Saddam Hussein.
Right.
I'm going to repeat that. There is no link. He hated Osama bin Laden. Thought he was exactly.
In fact, he was kind of going to go out.
Oh, he tried to get his country to help him arm up his band of warriors that he developed in Afghanistan.
Out in the mountains.
Out in the mountains, in the caves. And bring them and attack Saddam Hussein because they thought what he was doing
was terrible.
It was terrible. He was killing his people and own people.
And they didn't, yeah.
Okay, I've got to read you this because I think that this is really, this is something we like to talk about.
Okay.
For well over 1,000 years, there has been a doctrine and Christian definition of what constitutes a just war. This just war tradition developed in the 4th century with Ambrose and Augustine, but grew to maturity with Thomas Aquinas and such late scholastics as Francisco de Vitoria and Francisco Suarez. The requirements for a just war varied to some extent from commentator to commentator, but those who wrote on the subject shared some basic principles. The war in Iraq did not even come close to satisfying them. And you can interject the word Iran for Iraq in what we just did. First, there has to be an initial act of aggression. We were the aggressors.
Yeah.
In response to which a just war may be waged. Okay? Second, diplomatic solutions had not been exhausted. They were still in the midst of them. They thought we were still negotiating with them when we dropped the bombs, folks.
Yep.
Just keep that in mind. Traditional just war criteria also demanded that the initiation of war be undertaken by the proper authority. Let me read that again. Traditional just war criteria also demanded that the initiation of war be undertaken by the proper authority. Under the U.S. Constitution, the proper authority is neither the President nor the United Nations. It is Congress.
You know those folks that we represent, that we voted in supposed to represent us and stuff.
Yeah, I'm ready for them sons just to get ready and do some representing. Okay, and then they're talking about, using, I'm going to read that because that's just more of the same, of the same. And he does say this, and I think this applies to us now. Such nonsense insults the intelligence of the American people. I'm not sure we're insultable. And makes the rest of the world wonder about our sanity. And this was back in 2008.
Yeah, there's a lot more of that going on because a lot of people are like, hey, y'all, you need help? Like, it's like, yeah, we do. I don't. Yeah.
And the other thing about, intervening in other people's business. But here, we are faced once again, and I'm using our present situation, with the unpredictability of foreign intervention and the strong possibility that by removing a bad government, we may wind up not with a better one, but far worse one. Quote. Okay, now this is a long one, so just hang in there with me. It's a whole paragraph. It's about this long. The Iraq War is sometimes portrayed as a conservative/liberal issue. It isn't. Supporters of war and empire come from both political parties and can be found among both liberals and conservatives.
Yeah.
The liberal media supported the Iraq War with enthusiasm and in their eagerness to parrot the official line, abandoned whatever critical faculties they possessed. The American media were so derelict in their duty during the Iraq War that one watchdog group actually offered a $1,000 reward for any reporter who would ask the administration a challenging question about pre-war intelligence.
I think that's been asked now. I don't think any takers.
Well, with the, inflation, they'll have to go up to 2. Hillary Clinton was a strong supporter of the war. Following the off-year election in 2006, congressional Democrats, for the most part, revealed themselves once again to be a sorry excuse for an opposition party, continuing to fund the war and refusing to take any bold action.
Yes.
So there we are. And this is kind of where I am too right now. I'm going, I don't see any difference between either one of them. They're all taking money from giant
PACs and corporations.
And corporations, and they're bought and sold, every single frickin' one of them.
By the way, again, I'm going to put the APAC tracker, because y'all need to know. Y'all need to know.
Yeah, who's supporting your politician?
Let's see. Tracker.
Okay, this is relevant here, folks.
Yeah.
Then things changed. In December 2007, a national intelligence estimate, I don't even think we have that, certainly, compiled by 16 agencies of the American intelligence apparatus concluded that Iran had discontinued its 16 agencies, ladies and gentlemen, discontinued its nuclear weapons program in 2003 and had not resumed it. Up until that very moment that report was issued, the so-called liberal media had been serving up once again its uncritical mouthpieces of administration war propaganda, providing cover for yet another costly and avoidable conflict.
So crazy that it just sounds like this was all like doing it again.
It had said all along that Iran poses no imminent nuclear threat to us or to her neighbors.
Yeah.
And now the intelligence community had confirmed that view, a view anyone who read newspapers outside of the United States, well, good God, they don't even read the ones in the United States, would have been informed enough to take for granted.
Yeah.
And I think this is Anthony, you will enjoy this statement. As with Iraq, Iran has been asked to perform the logically impossible feat of proving a negative. Iran is presumed guilty until proven innocent because there is no evidence with which to indict. Still, when individuals want a war, any pretext will do. And that's where we are right now.
Well, I don't, and they didn't even worry about that really. I mean, they kind of did a few little things. They were like, man, you know, but it was just like, really?
And again, the non-interventionist people would have said, we're not going to go into this war. This is silly. But we all know what the motivation is. Yeah, we can talk about it. He doesn't talk about that.
Well, again,
I'm not even sure if this was an issue, the oil business.
No, that's what I'm thinking. Because okay, let's pause for a second here because, you just, it's so nuts. Because it's probably some superficial, like, only has to do with him. And it could be that the Epstein stuff is coming out more and more. Like, that could just be it. He has a little fit. He's irked about, something.
Well, the rash.
And the gross rash on his neck. Has anybody seen anything about that? Sorry.
I've been watching his mouth.
I'm worried about his health.
Yeah, me too.
I just really want to know about that rash.
Yeah, I want to know about that rash.
What are they giving him for it?
Oh, okay, here we go.
Is it topical?
Power.
Is this so many questions.
Yeah, so many questions.
Yeah.
Okay, in a recent article in Modern Age, the conservative journal founded by Russell Kirk illustrated this point. Felix Morley, for example, was one of the founders of Human Events, the oldest conservative weekly in America. In 1950, he wrote an essay called American Republic or American Empire.
Who's this?
This is Felix Morley.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, he wrote, there Morley warned, we are trying to make a federal republic do an imperial job without honestly confronting the fact that our traditional institutions are specifically designed to prevent centralization of power.
Here, okay, so remember we were talking about this a little bit, and we're trying to figure out why is it that nobody will say anything, like why nobody will step up. So this is why in authoritarian regimes that the people in power have only people around them that would know in no other time, for no other reason, be in the positions that they are in.
Oh my gosh. Erica Kirk, they just hired her to do something. I don't know.
Sycophants. So therefore, that's why they're not, even if they know it's wrong. Marco Rubio knows this is wrong.
Yeah, and
you can tell his soul has been ripped out of him. But he knows that he would never, especially now. I mean, once you have gone this way, this route,
there's no coming back.
There's no coming back.
You sold your soul to the devil, and you have to pay.
I think he thinks maybe there is some little hope because, and I guess here's the other thing. This is a little gossipy kind of business, but that Trump is going around talking very nice about Marco Rubio, and it's, it hurts JD Vance's little fifis because he feels like he'll be kind of the next one, which is also going to be interesting because if we do have this whole 2028 thing, which I very much think that we are, I just don't know exactly what that looks like. That's my feelings on it. I don't know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat what you feel about that. But I mean, I do think that it's gonna all happen. So if they do run and it's in a regular kind of situation, are they gonna speak badly of their leader? How does that go?
Well, here, let me read you this. This kind of answers this.
All right, let's go.
Segues right into this.
Look at us doing things.
Okay. All right. In Freedom and Federalism, Morley quoted Adolf Hitler as saying that, quote, a powerful national government may encroach considerably upon the liberty of individuals as well as of the different states and assume responsibility for it without weakening the empire idea if only every citizen recognizes recognizes such measures as means for making his nation great. My God, could we have written that? That has come right out of Make America Great Again.
Oh, well, I mean, that is, and by the way, not a new slogan. I don't know if y'all know that or not, but like there's.
All right, now we're talking about empire building here, right?
Yes.
We're talking about empires. Be on task here.
Sorry.
In other words, the problem of empire building is essentially mystical. It must somehow foster the impression that a man is great in the degree that his nation is great. That a German is superior to a Belgian as such, an Englishman to an Irishman, an American to a Mexican, merely because the first named countries are in each case more powerful than their comparatives. Did you see the statement when Hegses said he only spoke American?
In front.
Oh,
did y'all see that?
My God. I just was,
Exactly. I want to see the faces of the people in that room. See, they didn't show you that because that's the look that they should have, or be like, why doesn't anybody say anything? Why didn't Marco Rubio go, excuse me? Like,
okay, I'm not finished here.
What?
And people who have no individual stature who whatsoever are willing to accept this poisonous nonsense because it gives them a sense of importance without the trouble of any personal effort. Want me to read that one to you again?
Yeah.
Did that sink in? Merely because the first named countries are in each case more powerful than their comparatives, and the people who have no individual stature whatsoever are willing to accept this poisonous nonsense because it gives them a sense of importance without the trouble of any effort.
Yeah. Yes. Hegseth is a special kind of stupid.
Oh, he's vile. He's just they're really, I don't think there are enough adjectives that would be able to portray the total slime ball. Yeah. Okay.
His mother wrote a letter one time.
Hmm?
His mother wrote a letter about how terrible he was at one point in time.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And then she went on the air and said,
she didn't really mean it.
I wonder how much he had to pay her for that.
Well, I hope a lot. Russell Kirk was one of the chief founders of American conservatism. In his book, The Conservative Mind has been one of the most, who would have thought I would have been reading this to you? And he too was suspicious of militarism. He was a critic of highly military spending and opposed the Vietnam War, albeit privately. By the 1990s, he was an outspoken opponent of his government's military interventions and was concerned that they were making his country unnecessary enemies. In general, Republicans throughout the 20th century have been advocates of prudence and restraint in the conduct of foreign affairs. I would not. I don't think that's true. Look at George. Look at both the Georges. As for the wars for democracy, question Kirk asked was, are we to saturation bomb most of Africa and Asia into righteousness, freedom, and democracy? That's what the hell we're trying to do right now.
I don't even know. And again, that is not what we're doing.
No,
and I don't even
think... he wants the people to rise up, Mariah. Come on now. He already said that. He's giving them a chance. Damn it. They need to run faster away from those bombs so they can rise up.
Listen, lady. Okay, she's just being a smartass at this moment in time. I just want y'all to know that in case you're new here and didn't recognize that. Listen. I don't think anybody's fooling themselves about all that business. I mean, maybe some people
Oh, well, I hear it
Believe-
all the time.
believe that.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
this is
I'm
always-
not sure there's going to be anybody, available to rise up unless they
Okay.
pull a Jesus move here.
Here's
roll
the
back the stone and
right. So okay, simmer down, lady. Okay, so this was one of the points that it was where they could have, and this was back February. Hold on, I got the date, y'all. Hold on, I write these things down because I need to remember these things. So back in February, okay, so what are we in now? We are in March.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's when they first started protesting in Iran. And sorry, I thought I had the date there, but that would have been the time they needed to harness that. That could have been their moment. But once Iran had, like, the government had murdered all those people, all the protesters. And by the way, did you know?
Oh,
Did you know that they even went into the hospitals and found those people and murdered them in the hospital? Anybody that was wounded or whatever that was at those protests. So had the U.S. wanted to intervene prior to that, then then that would have been the moment, because there would have been people there to rise up.
And our
afterwards,
CIA was there all the time for that.
Afterwards, you'd lost your, like,
the moment had passed.
The moment had passed. And now you've only solidified.
Oh, yes. Everything that the regime had said that the protesters were trying to, those young people.
Yeah. Oh, Sherry, she wanted another one. She needed to get this out.
Pardon?
Sherry says, "Oh, we're calling again tonight."
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just thought that this was very relevant.
Yeah.
Now I want to read this because and I love this because it's just so, I don't know. Yeah, I know it was 2008, but it's just so 90s because
yeah.
Okay, this is the book. Randolph Bourne said, "War is the health of the state. They also understood the undesirable domestic side effects of war, such as taxes, debt, lost liberties, centralization, and the emasculation of the Constitution." And I think that that's interesting that they would say the emasculation of the Constitution, because before, John Quincy Adams had referred to the United States as she.
Well, and Lady Liberty and...
Yeah, and now all of a sudden she's got balls. Interesting. Maybe she's... Oh, I said that. Okay, now, we've got to address this, and I do it very carefully because I do not... We have friends that are from Israel, and I do not want to alienate or...
Well, and I think it's a constant that we need to... I know where she's going with this when she said that.
Yeah.
And it's much like, once again, in the United States, we the people are not necessarily the people in charge or the people that are making these decisions. And it's certainly people that are making decisions without Congress, who are our elected officials, representatives. Therefore, like in other countries, such as Israel, the people are not Netanyahu. This is a Netanyahu thing. This is a Trump thing that, unfortunately, I don't know, like...
Well, this is...
I don't know when it gets worked out. I truly believe that things will... I just don't know how bad they have to get before some things really start to go in a different direction. I feel that there are fissures and things happening that give me hope. And the thing is you don't really know. You don't know where you're at in history until a little later. You can go, oh, that's what was going on there. You can, much like where we're discussing all of the previous wars and interventions and things of that nature. It makes sense, and we can connect the dots better, and we know more about who's involved and where the money is and who
this deals with it. Doesn't deal with it specifically, but it deals with it philosophically on how this whole thing with Israel came about.
Yeah.
Because Ishak Shimon was very resentful of the United States, and I think that this explains that. How does Israel, with which the United States has long enjoyed a special relationship, fit into this picture? Now we're talking about interventionists.
And again, this was 2008.
Yes, please keep that in mind. I see no reason that our friendship with Israel cannot continue. I favor extending to Israel the same honest friendship that Jefferson and the founding fathers urged us to offer to all nations. But that also means no special privileges like foreign aid, a position I maintain vis-a-vis all other countries as well. This means I also favor discontinuing foreign aid to governments that are actual or potential enemies of Israel, which, taken together, receive much more American aid than Israel does. Giving aid to both sides has understandably made many average Israelis and American Jews conclude that the American government is hypocritically hedging its bets. I oppose all foreign aid on principle for reasons I detail in a later chapter. Foreign aid is not only immoral, since it involves the forced transfer of wealth, but it is also counterproductive, as a ceaseless stream of scholarship continues to show. Foreign aid has been a disaster in Africa. Well, we know why, because of all the corruption within those governments. The money we send never gets to the people that
is not true, because I think we're also figuring out, and we're about to see it in real time. Now, of course, there's going to be corruption. There's going to be, especially when you're dealing with those types of, different countries and different whomever's in charge, or if they're, have different militias and things that are in those areas and operating. But what we were doing with USAID made a difference. It saved lives. And we were making a difference because those sacks of food that had from the United States on it made a difference.
But my thing about it is now those people relied on that. They came to rely on that because that was their.
So that's
and now we just pulled it back out again. And now what?
Oh, well, yeah.
Now what have we gained there?
And maybe at this point we're teaching the world, hey, y'all don't need to be don't depend on us, because we're maybe we're are we the baddies? We definitely are the baddies. We're also, I think, the very bad boyfriend, the very bad, the crazy relationship. I guess it doesn't have to be a boyfriend, but yeah, you can't trust them.
Here,
we may in fact, actually, sorry, I chuckle about this because it just makes me uncomfortable. It's more like a relationship with somebody that has a substance abuse problem, and they're in and out of rehab. And that's kind of like what they come and go. And sometimes, or if you're on your meds and you're doing well, or you're off, you're not doing the drugs or whatever, you're great. You got a job, and then all of a sudden you don't. And that's kind of like how America is.
Okay.
Depending on who's in charge. And right now we're on a bender.
Foreign aid has been a disaster in Africa, delaying sound economic reforms and encourage wastefulness and statism. We should not wish it on our worst enemy, much less a friend. Moreover, since the aid has to be spent on products made by American corporations, it is really just a form of corporate welfare, which I can never support. Only those with a very superficial attachment to Israel can really be happy that she continues to rely on over $2 billion in American aid every year. Remember, that was 2008.
Yeah.
In the absence of such grants, Israel would at least be under pressure to adopt a freer economy, thereby bringing about greater prosperity for her people and making it easier for her to be self-reliant. Foreign aid only inhibits salutary reforms like this.
Remember, this dude's a libertarian.
Salutary reforms like this. Reforms that any true friend of Israel is eager to see. As a matter of fact, the Institute for Advanced Strategic and Political Studies in Jerusalem argues that foreign aid is the greatest obstacle to economic freedom in Israel. This is from their own government. It is an open secret that Israel's military industry is inefficient and top-heavy with bureaucracy shortcomings that consistent American aid obviously encourages. Why make difficult adjustments when billions in aid can be counted on regardless of what you do?
Hey, I'm sending you so I'm getting some good information. Okay, so we need to look into Rory Stewart. Thank you for that, Sophia. I think that's good. And remember, like, he's deep into the libertarian book here.
Conservative.
Yes.
Conservative.
I don't know. Some of this, yes. In theory, I don't know. I still feel really like the.
I think we need to take the whole thing with aid out of the hands of the government.
Thing. At this point, they broke it, so we're gonna find out, which sucks. I don't like this. This is not how I think things should have been done. But it is what it is. So, there's no sense in, crying over the thing that, I mean, there's lots of tears, actually. It breaks my heart for some of the things that I know that this has caused, but it is the reality. Therefore, now we know these things, and it has exposed a lot of weaknesses in just even how a lot of this was all set up. And so I think it is for this next generation, and I really hope and pray and, universe, whatever, that these next rounds, like this election that's coming up in November, that we can take over, and there's a new batch of people that aren't these established corporate Democrats, because they are not helping. Some of them just hanging out, some of them taking AIPAC money, that kind of thing. I love Kat Abu-Ghazali, so if any of y'all are in Illinois 9, please vote for Kat Abu-Ghazali. I think she is amazing. Yes, she's young and she has some stupid ideas, but we all do. But her heart's in the right place, and I think
she's asking the right questions.
She's asking the right questions. She's pushing for the right things.
Well, we need to send her a copy of this book and Anthony's book. Okay.
Sending books.
This is just a little, fact here that we can throw out there.
Okay.
Our bloated military budget.
Oh, Sophia. Mm-hmm.
And even your military experts, your people who are not actively, who have retired or whatever, you hear the same thing there. They question why we are at. Remember, I read you that quote the other day by McGregor.
Sorry.
Okay.
I can't, it just, in my, I'm sorry.
Beyond that, we are wasting a staggering amount of manpower, hardware, and wealth on a bloated overseas presence that would be better devoted to protecting the United States itself. Our forces are stretched much too thin. What with our 700 bases around the world And what did we just say was the main thing that
They don't want
triggered
it.
your suicidal terrorist?
They don't
was
want it.
American presence in their country.
Military presence.
Military presence in their country. Yes, let's qualify that.
Yes. I think this is important. It's kind of like
around the world.
Yeah.
Okay. And all the nation building work that conservatives not so long ago criticized Bill Clinton for imposing on our military. We have had troops in Korea for over 5.5 decades.
Oh, and let me tell you some of the things that those.
How many years is enough?
Oh, and if you look into that, I can't remember if we talked about that at one point in time or if it's just something that I know from the, massive amounts of things that I watched.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
While our government engages in deficit spending to fund its military exploits overseas, thought that was really relevant, detracting from our own productivity, countries like China are filling the void by expanding their trade opportunities.
Yeah.
And technology.
Now here's
and
the thing.
Inventions.
Okay, so I watched another thing today. Do I have my phone?
Oh, are you going to do this?
I need to do that, but I think I left my phone downstairs, so I'm just gonna.
Well, you have a computer.
Hold on. I do. And all my things are connected. So look at that. Look at me with my things. Now, here's the other problem that I've been running into lately, because now we're running 2 channels, right? Did I watch it over there or did I watch it over there? Kind of thing. But, Acosta, that's his name. Okay. Bill?
Oh.
He was fired from CNN or let go, or, he was one of those dudes. A reporter guy.
Oh, he wasn't the one in Florida.
No, different. Not that one.
For
right, exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
I know, because sometimes I think that too when people say the name, and then I'm like, oh wait, no, that's the
different dude.
Different dude.
I think I'd change my name.
Okay, hold on. We gotta look at it. No, that's not gonna mess that up. Hold on here, because it was a really great. Like, he's obviously more of an economics dude that he was chit chatting with, and he said that listen, the whole Chinese market, yes, they have a greater. They still have a vast need for oil. Even though, and it kind of just depends, like, because this is where we're going to figure out all the things that go into oil. But then again, you had mentioned the other day about how they being China, are really investing in different alternative products that are not made with oil, which is fantastic. I mean, that's great.
Yes, bamboo, which grows like a weed.
It does. It's actually very invasive. If you do plant it in your yard, you should put it inside of containers or whatever. And then even, I think what's interesting are like the biofuels and things like they're doing with the algae, and then there's all that crazy algae that shows up over there in Mexico that they're making like bricks and things. So I hate that all of this is happening, but I'm also like, hey, this could be the push that it's like, okay, why are we doing this with all this oil crap? Okay.
Instead, the best indication of our civilization has been our prestige in international trade. We should let the best measure of our American greatness come from free and peaceful trade with other nations, not from displays of our military might.
All right, and here's my little bit of libertarian, because we were talking about this yesterday, and I was like, yeah, here's the thing. If we would actually be really, and this is a very, this used to be a very conservative thing. I don't know what they believe anymore. It's just whatever the orange guy tells them. But if you are like a true old school Republican conservative, you believe in free trade.
Yes.
And free markets. And that means that, hey, airline, if you aren't doing what you need to be doing.
And you're going bankrupt. Well, you need to do some.
Hey, Enron and all that. And I know who. I get it.
Chrysler.
Super pissed at Obama about that crap.
I know. I do too.
He picked the freaking corporations over the people.
Yeah, he did.
And that was crap. See, we can,
Okay, back to this. It says, and I love this because Mimi used to say this, and this I'm quoting from the book here. For heaven's sakes, what kind of debate is it in which all sides agree that America needs troops in 130 countries? For heaven's sake.
For heaven's sake.
That may be the kind of debate that the old Pravda once allowed, but where is the robust exchange of ideas that we should expect in a free society?
Mm-hmm.
In a tremendously bloody and costly war.
Kenneth Rogoff. Trump's Iran war could send peace prices soaring with Kenneth Rogoff. I do like Acosta. It is, right? It is Acosta, right? Pretty sure. Doesn't have his name in the title. But Jim. I think it's Jim.
Who?
Acosta.
Oh, Acosta. Oh.
Did somebody tell me that?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, oh thank you. See, look. Eddie
Okay,
was,
we're just gonna we're kind of wrapping up here
Okay, she's
because I'm
wrapping
at the end of my chapter here. And I don't want to start on Constitution because Constitution needs a whole session.
we're just gonna call it Constitution.
Constitution.
Get your pocket constitutions ready, y'all. And if you didn't get them, order them. Somebody will send it to you for free.
Meanwhile,
Mm.
and I love this because there was a book I used to read my kids in elementary schools. Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Well, and
you remember
Stephen,
that
well,
book?
and Stephen Colbert always does his like meanwhile segments, which
Well, meanwhile,
probably-
back at the ranch,
Mhm.
it's just this wonderful thing. You know, the pig is taking over all of the power in the barn. It's, you know, meanwhile, back at the ranch. Okay. Meanwhile, our lack of debate has had terrible consequences for our republic. James Bamford observes that the leadership of Al Qaeda hoped to lure us into desert Vietnam, an enormously expensive war that would deplete our resources and help their own recruitment by stirring up the locals against us. And what are we doing? And that is just what happened. The war's ultimate cost is being estimated in the trillions. The dollar is collapsing, and more terrorists are being created. A policy of overthrowing or destabilizing every regime our government dislikes is no strategy at all, unless our goal is international chaos and domestic impoverishment.
yep.
That's it. That's all I got for you today.
Okay.
The Constitution, I mean, starting right off, I've got the whole first paragraph.
Oh, actually, I'm happy that we kind of did this extra call because I didn't even talk about. Well, I don't think I knew about it yesterday because I'd gotten the phone call. So, that being said, next Saturday, because that's when we typically call. It was yesterday. This is just a little extra bonus.
Oh yeah, we're going to the peace thing.
Well, no, that's
That's
following.
the following one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the 28th. So y'all remember, No Kings 28th. You need to go or find somebody or help somebody, support somebody that's going. You know, if they got kids or something, and you're just like, hey, if you wanted to go to the protest, I'll watch them kids, something like that.
Yeah,
you know, or watch it. You know, go support somebody's live stream that's streaming it. I don't know. There are different ways to show up. I believe that, and I think it is important. And I will tell you, every time we go, I feel so good because it's just like you get to hang with these people and just.
we're taking our whistles.
And take our whistles and hand them out. So exciting. Okay, anyway, sorry. Next, this coming Saturday, Gurvinder, our dude, is running. He's going to launch his campaign for another city council. Yeah, he invited that. That's what he called me. I got a phone call from the.
He calls me the boss.
So we're gonna go to that, but it's from 3 to 5, which is right during our normal call time. So we can either call afterwards. So it might just be that.
Let's call afterwards because we're gonna be really pumped.
Well, maybe we could get him to come back over here and chat with y'all. He's super cool.
Oh, he is.
He's a neat dude.
He is a very neat dude.
He's sweet. Like there's some, and I was telling
and
Brad
his whole family is.
That's the same thing with Evan.
They're just wonderful.
I highly recommend
people.
go. Here's an actionable item for you. Go to one of these events with whomever is running in your area, whether it's city councilor or whatever. Meet the candidates. You will get a sense of who they are.
And it won't take, I'm serious, it will not take you long. Now, I don't know. I had to kind of get, because Gurvinder, he's Sikh. He's Indian. And I had kind of a, I don't know about him.
Because we didn't know necessarily.
But I sat with him.
We went and had coffee. He was one of the ones that, I was like...
Actually reached out to us and took time.
No, Sandeep told me, you need to talk to this guy because he's running in your for city council. That spot, he didn't win. But he, record numbers. And I told him, I said, I think this time, because we have, Talarico on the ballot. We have Evan. Evan is, getting out there. And you meet Evan and you love Evan. That is it.
Yeah.
And so, I just...
And I would... He's probably already read this book.
I don't know what he's talking about. Anyway, all right, guys. So that's the update. Next week might be a little later. That's basically, the long and the short of that.
Yeah.
All right. Love y'all. Bye. Caw.
Caw. Caw. Caw. Is it?